Greets you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Truth plus love equals life. Today I'm just getting these videos up. I just can't tell you how much I've just been getting like knocked down. Probably not working at Goodwill anymore. Okay, I don't really care. I mean, it's just my shoulders were that tight and in pain, and I told them I couldn't do the whatever. The next day they asked me to do the donation door when I told them I couldn't do it. My shoulders, my neck, everything is just that tight from 20 years of serving humanity. So when they tell you I'm some loser, can't even work at Goodwill, oh man, Roger did better than every human ever made put together. The reason I'm telling you this is because at some point, if you hear this, everything will be portrayed as a negative light about me, and I can't control that. And I actually care about you, and I don't want you to go to hell. So this video today is about a number of different things. I'd like to say, Grace Kitty, I love you. There's a Bengal cat my brother had. She was like 18 years old. Just had to put her down today. They're gorgeous creatures. They're very special cats. One who can feel it. Where's she over there? There she is. Love her. Look at her. Oh, puppy friends. Kind of sad just because she knows she lost her friend. They can tell. I may put a picture up on this video, so you don't have to look at my ugly mug. The point is, you know, I'm a real person, and this is just hard for everybody, and I get that. So what am I going to tell you about today? I'll cut right to the chase here. Thank you for the intro. Okay. When Mark Antony famously, you know, they betrayed Caesar, said et tu, Brute. I'm here to tell you that historically, that was when Britain essentially took over Rome. Why? Because this is not a joke. I'm telling you that Brute was Brutus, a giant. Historically, Britain was founded on a giant named Brutus, who was told as long as they honor him, they'll always rule the world. So Mark Antony and Cleopatra betraying Caesar with Brute, I'm telling you, is Brutus. That's when Britain essentially made their play, however long ago this was, you know, a couple thousand years ago. And Egypt would have been on it. Cleopatra, some people call it Cleopatra or Cleopatra, but apparently it's called Cleopatra. I didn't know either. Fine. You know, think about, you know, Princess Di and Dodi Fiat. Now, Di was from Wales, but, you know, that's like a sacrifice because of how much resources Britain and Egypt would have. That's why it was such a big deal. So I'm telling you, these are great revelations, and I can't prove any of this, but it just makes sense when you see it. You go, oh my God. So think in the ancient days, you know, I talked to my brother about this a long time ago. It's like, imagine instead of thinking like Jews and Romans killed Jesus, imagine it was like the Brits and the Germans who were the Caesar types, and the Pharisees, imagine they were like Saudi Muslim clerks. Because it's kind of the same thing. Okay, we all sinned and required Jesus to be died, but we didn't actually harm Jesus. And yes, 10, 15 years ago, I wished death on Jesus for like 5 seconds. He forgives me. I tell you that because people will tell you, oh, like he's the enemy of Jesus. No, Jesus is number 2, good guy. But I fell, I mean, everybody sins and comes short of the glory of God. There's no question of that. This is all real, and every day it is getting way more real. So I want you to consider that that's the case. That, oh, and I believe Mark Antony, resurrected from the past, is Mario Draghi, who was the head of the Bank of Italy, as in drag in. Because do you really know what they look like? Christine Lagarde's Joan of Arc, and she clearly is. I mean, they're all right in front of your face. Never going to have been crazy. Never didn't turn out to tell you the truth. I told you the truth all along. You just have to see this much history and see what's happening, okay? Meaning you just, God opened my eyes and I'll show you the truth, and what you do with it, I can't control. George Soros, I absolutely believe, is Attila the Hun. Because he was the guy who founded Hungary, and that guy is straight evil, and Soros, S-A-U-R-O-S, means dinosaur, as in lizard, reptilian. He was who they named Henry after, Attila the Hun, Hungary after, Attila the Hun. So I want you just to consider, you know, I mean, maybe it is Shinzo Abe. Maybe he's, you know, Hirohito now that I think about it. Some people say he faked his own death. So is he going to come back? Abe means sun festival, like gold. You need to consider that all these people standing right in front. Oh, and Pope Francis, I believe that is Cosmo Medici, the father of the fatherland. Look up a picture of him. It's a composite photo. He's got that same kind of little, like, Papa Smurf, you know, Emperor's Little Troll thing happening. And Pope Francis, literally, you can find it somewhere on the web, is at a kitchen table telling everybody else that he serves the mother of harlots and it's always been this way. And it's just, I mean, it's really clearly him, just like I'm talking to you right here, but it's not going to be put on TV for people to be told, make sure and see this, okay? Jay-Z and Kanye West also mentioned the coronavirus in 2011, I'm told. You need to understand what's happening in your face and just look it up and be like, oh my God, they're not psychic. They're told ahead of time to prefigure it. Like, it's like throwing a boomerang out or setting off, you know, like a time-released seed. It's like planting a seed and then it comes to harvest later. So if you want to know what they're doing now, look back what they told you in the past. And Steve Jobs even said that. So, you know, I don't like people being deceived. I don't like people being scammed. There's nothing I can do about my life, my reputation, whether people, you know, they're going to hate me. If you love Jesus, they're going to hate you. There's only 144,000 people in the world. They're not in the subconscious covenant with man to worship man as God, which is the ultimate blasphemy. I'm saved by grace. I'll never be able to redeem myself. Forgive me, Jesus, my everything's wrong. Anything other than that, you're going to go to hell. And I don't want that for anybody, because we're all one big failure without the only true success, the Lord Jesus Christ, in his new name, truth plus love equals life. Now let's go into this too. I had a Jehovah's Witness ask me lately, you know, they just can't get to seal. This is not difficult. It's a spiritual block. She said, how could you think God's going to pray to himself? Of course. They're projecting their ego onto God. The body of God, Jesus, has to pray to the mind of God. Because if the body has to exist, truly exist in order to exist, therefore he must be fully submitted to the essence of the mind of God, the truth. So he wouldn't be the body of God if he was listening to a mind that told him to sin or do evil. He had to pray to his own mind. There was none greater. Without the perfect truth, the body of God couldn't exist. An all-knowing being would have to know that. He was separated from the fullness of his own mind by being in the flesh, which was our fallen nature. Now, he did not sin, but it's like putting static in the signal. That's why he had to connect to his own mind. There was somewhat of a non-integration. He was still morally perfect, but he was in this flesh matrix, destroying the matrix at the cross. That's why Jesus ate the honeycomb. A honeycomb is a hexagonal grid. Just like in the Hunger Games, she shoots down. It's a hexagonal grid. Can't make it up. He devoured Satan's metaverse. His shadowverse is what I used to call it. So now that he's integrated before and after the cross, he's not going to pray to himself because he's one person. But it's like when the saucer ship had to be, the saucer section had to be separated in Star Trek. You know, they take the bottom of it off and the other, you know, like the people, it has to leave. Well, Jesus was always the person of the truth, but he was somewhat separated from his own super consciousness, which is why he had to cling and pray to the Father. Mind, let this body die in the place of people, because the mind of God knows that without Jesus redeeming us, we have no hope. And there would have been no reason to make us in the first place if God wasn't going to redeem us. As soon as he made us, best dad ever knew he had to die in our place. So it makes perfect sense, folks. The Trinity is the single easiest subject matter to understand, but it's spiritually discerned. So, you know, I love you. I want you to, man, every day it is just more and more crazy. Somehow something good's going to happen. I love you. God bless you. In the name of Jesus, truth plus love equals life.